Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anne-Sophie and this is episode 6 of the Candid Knitting Podcast. So it's been 3 weeks, but my amount of knitting kind of makes it seem as if it's been 2 months since we last spoke because I went on holiday for 2 weeks and I did not much else than sit by the pool or sit outside in the sun and knit. So I got quite a lot of my summer projects done and I'd love to chat to you about them. Now, before we get into them, I am wearing one of my favorite summer knits I've ever done. This is the very popular camisole number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I knitted up in Knitting for Olive's merino in the color Dusty Moose, which I adore this colorway. It's really nice. It's like a brownish, gray, dark taupe. I don't know what to call it. I feel like the Knitting for Olive colors are just described perfectly, and Dusty Moose just about covers it, so yeah. Yeah, it's just a basic top knit with stockinette edges folded down and sewed down, and no increases on the body. Mine's a bit cropped because I lost yarn chicken on this one, but what will you do? Yeah, I think that's that for what I'm wearing, so let's get into it. I'll just start with what I finished first. This is my top sole by Mochi Knits. Ta-da! This is a 100% linen top that I knit with the recommended yarn, Camarose løvetand organic linen, which is a chainette linen yarn. Don't know if you can see. Ta-da! It's very beautiful. It's quite annoying to knit with, but as I expected it to, it did knit up beautifully and with this gorgeous drape. It's a drop shoulder vest type situation, so you cast on for the back and then you knit garter stitch edges as you go, and then you pick up stitches for both fronts. You knit the front down all the way over here, you increase on the side at both the back panels and the back panel and the two front panels. You increase for the underarms, and then you cast on a few stitches for the underarms, and then you knit the body back and forth. The front, of course, has V-neck increases, and you knit 2 slip stitches at the edge of the front to make it look very, very neat. I didn't use the recommended cast off, I just cast off regularly, which I think looks really nice and I'm not at all mad about. It looks amazing, but it's not exactly what I pictured it would be. So let me just take this off the hanger for a second and put it on to show you what I mean. I think my row gauge was off and I didn't measure that correctly in my gauge swatch. Oh yeah, the chains are just little crochet chains that you stitch to your work, which I did like 10 minutes ago because I forgot, and then I steamed it. And I steamed them real quick because I blocked them without the little ties. So as you can probably see, the V-neck comes like really deep for me, almost like scandalously so, and the armholes come very deep as well. I think this is characteristic of the pattern, but if I look at the sample photos, it's not as deep on those as it is on me, so I'm fearing I'll have to wear this like over something and I won't be able to wear it as like a simple top for just me, which is a pity because the way it drapes and the way it feels on my body is just amazing. I could wear it with like a white top, but the way I intended to wear this was just with a pair of jeans and nothing else. So it's a bit of a pity that it's not fitting as well. I should go in and add more length to it as well because it's very, very cropped, as you can see. Just like my, yeah, yarn chicken cami number 9. And I do have some yarn left to like uncrop it, but I'm just so not excited about this finished object that I haven't gone and cropped it yet, which is, I don't know, quite sad, but yeah. I didn't like working with this yarn either, which is also one of the reasons I haven't really, frogged the cast off or frogged the bind off and added some length, because, I don't know, it pulls, it tugs, it doesn't knit up very evenly or neatly. Yeah, it's just overall not the nicest experience. It was, however, a very quick top to knit, so that's good for me, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I see there's like these irregularities in the yarn and the tension isn't perfect. And this is after like blocking this thing. I put it through the laundry machine, through like a normal cycle. I steamed it a bunch of times and it's draping beautifully, it's lying beautifully, but the tension is just not what I'd like it to be. So yeah, I was very excited for this project. I've been looking forward to making this for like a year. The yarn was pretty expensive for what it is, and I'm not too hyped about it, which is just a bit sad. I'd love for you guys to tell me that it's actually fitting me perfectly and looking great, but I'm not sure you will. I think you might just agree with me. Yeah. I think you can just hear it in my tone. I'm a bit disappointed with this project and sad. Oh, the color is really nice though. I love this color. It's the fennikel, so fennel color. There's not too many colorways of this yarn, but I'm glad with my choice nonetheless. Yeah, something to be very happy about, because I thought it was going to be a bit too warm, especially compared to like the Knitting for Olive Dusty Artichoke, but it is quite similar to the Dusty Artichoke, which I do have lying right here. Like, it's very, very similar. It's just a bit more light, a bit more minty even, but that's it. Yeah. My topsole by Mochi Knits. Oh, no, I forgot so many specs. It's knit on 3.5mm needles. Another reason I haven't added length yet might be the fact that I broke my first knitting needle, which is my Lykke 3.5mm needles. So that sucks. Yeah, so I can't immediately go in and add length anyway, because I don't have the needles. I didn't break it on this. I broke it by sitting down on them when I left them in the couch, which is dumb. Oh well. Yeah, that's that for that project. I don't want to talk about it any longer. My next finished object, also something that I finished and blocked on holiday, is my 9 p.m. tank by Tiff Knits. Ta-da! She's very pretty, but she looks tiny. Once again, a project that I am not 100% pleased with. It's like all of the things I finished on holiday flopped a little bit. I bound off too tightly. I don't love this yarn. The double knitting is way too tight. So when I try this on, it looks really nice and it looks really good and it looks like it fits great, but it's just way too tight. I had some trouble with the pattern, but I'll get into that a little later. I have talked about this on my previous podcast, but let's talk about the construction and the yarn first. So the way this is constructed is it's a made-to-measure pattern, so you have to measure yourself and then enter those measurements into an Excel sheet, and then it gives you the amount of stitches you need to cast on and the amount of rows and the amount of increases you need at every point you might need them in the pattern. And then you end up with this gorgeous number. But so you cast on the front or the back first, I don't remember. You knit those panels and then you do the double knitting. the horizontal double knitting, and then you join them over here at the bottom, and you knit down for a few centimeters specified for you in the pattern. Then the pattern recommends you to cast on at the underarm for the double knitted bands, or, well, yeah, straps and underarm edging. So you cast on stitches for the underarm, and then you go back to halfway through them and you start the double knitting here. You just do double knitting with knitting the last stitch together with the edge, then you double knit the strap to a certain length, and then you go past the edge again, and of course you pick up the sides of these double knitted edges as well. And that's how you get the finished look. You then should go, according to whether the pattern tells you to do so or not, into German short rows for the bust, which I first did, and I had done so already in my last podcast, and it looked very weird because the short row line came like really deep, like down to here almost, and it gave me so much extra fabric at the front that I was sure it was going to look like absolutely ridiculous when I wore it. And so I frogged that back, and I did it again, but with like, instead of this deep of a short row, I went for like this deep of a short row, which gave me about this much extra length at the front for my bust to fill up. And I still thought it looked strange, and I frogged that, and I ended up doing no short rows, which I shouldn't have done because now the front is a bit shorter than the back, which is not what I wanted, but the overall look of the top when I'm wearing it is nicer in my opinion. I didn't like the way the short rows looked on me, and the pattern does like decrease to give you some form of like bust and waist shaping, as you can see over here. So I thought that was like fine, and I thought it fit fine and it was gonna look fine, but in the end when I try it on, it is just kind of too tight around the bust and just overall very small. I thought that was gonna be fixed because this is a superwash yarn. I used malabrigo sock in the colorway Pearl, which is a 100% superwash merino that I bought in the US, and I thought, you know, it's gonna grow, so it's gonna look really good when it's finished and it's gonna fit really well, but it didn't grow that much. I did just block it flat on a towel in the sun on holiday, so I might use my blocking mats to see if I can stretch the double knitting and everything and make it fit a little bit better. But that's how it's fitting right now. It has a folded hem, which I bound off too tightly as well, which is making it very hard for me to get it over my bust when I'm taking it on and off. When I not blocked it yet, it was just impossible for me to get it over my bust, so it must have grown a little with blocking. But yeah, not too much, clearly. So I'm gonna see if I can make it grow a little bit with the blocking mats that I own and by pinning it and stretching it out. And if that doesn't work, I'm gonna redo the cast off or the bind off, I think. And yeah, if it doesn't end up fitting nicely, I might just gift it to someone who would like this because it's just not sparking joy for me. Also, I'm not really a variegated yarn type of person, but I have been dabbling in it to like confirm my hypothesis that I don't like it. I don't know. I just wanted to give it a chance, right? And I did with this yarn, and I don't like it that much. I feel like I would have preferred like a lavendery gray pearly type yarn without the light striping and variegation. It is very pretty though, still, but I don't know. I guess I had such high hopes for both this pattern and the top sole, and I was on holiday, so I had like the best time and I was feeling so great that I guess I was just taken aback a little bit and more disappointed that I would have been had I finished this at home and with lower expectations for the pattern. But so that's the 9 p.m. tank. I know other people absolutely adore this tank and this pattern, so I must have done something wrong, but I went and I read the pattern and I redid my measurements multiple times and I am on gauge, so I really don't know what went wrong there. I wish I did and I could fix it, but I don't. The yarn does knit up beautifully though in terms of tension, but yeah. Let's see if I can gift it to someone or maybe sell it on Vinted if I don't end up wearing it or if I can't stretch it sufficiently. Keep you posted on that though. So that's it for my finished objects. I have three new whips for you and one long-term whip that I made a lot of progress on. I know I had more whips before I went on holiday and everything, but I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'm this type of person who has like a ton of whips and then ends up not working on certain whips for like weeks or sometimes months on end, and if I didn't make any progress on my whips, I'll just not talk about them, but that doesn't mean they haven't been sitting there waiting for my love and attention. Oh well, but so one thing I made great progress on is my long-term project, my MELIDES dress by Vert Knit. It is extremely wrinkled because I took it with me on holiday and I've been carrying it along in a project bag like all frumpled up, but as you can see, it's grown significantly. I think it reaches just over my bum right now, which is great. There's so much to say about this pattern, but I've talked about it in many videos before, so I'm gonna make it quick because this is like a long-term project for me. This is a made-to-measure fingering weight dress knit on 3mm needles. I'm using wooden Japanese bamboo needles with a very pointy tip because the recommended yarn is Knitting for Olive pure silk. This is 100% ethically sourced or created silk, and it is quite splitty. I use the color Dusty Artichoke, which is one of my favorite Knitting for Olive colorways, and also rightfully so, one of the most popular ones. I'm currently on my third ball out of the 5 that I have, or even my 4th ball, I'm not even sure. And this is how much we've got. So this pattern, it's like 40 pages, it's quite expensive, but it's so elaborate and so much thought went into it because it's like entirely made to your measure, and you get to insert your gauge, insert all of your measurements into, again, an Excel spreadsheet or like a Drive spreadsheet, I'm not sure, and it, like, according to your row gauge and everything, it calculates what you've got to do. And the way Inez, who made the pattern, was able to make this like exactly made to measure entirely is because she works with these darts. So you get these slip stitch darts along which you decrease first for the waist, then you increase for the high hip and the hip, and then you just knit an A-line skirt, which is the section I'm on right now and that is gonna last a long time still. But it's supposed to fit me perfectly, and it's going to fit me perfectly. Let me just try on the one side to show you. Ta-da! Oh, this is going to be just gorgeous. This is how far I got this summer. It has like a linen stitch for the waist. It's going to have I-cord edging, and the nicest part about this pattern is it's reversible. So the other side looks identical to the front, but it's open. It has a V-neck finishing, and there's going to be buttons all the way over the front or the back or the V-neck side. So you can choose in which direction you want to wear it. Now I still have about like 20 centimeters to go on the skirt, and then all of the I-cord finishings to do, so I'm not thinking I'll finish this dress this summer because I've got a few test knits going and stuff, so I think it might be time for me to put this away again for next summer because I started this last summer and I don't want this to be a project I'm not excited about, and it started to become one already because it's such a slog to knit up. But I managed to make like at least 40 or 50 centimeters of progress on the skirt this summer, and I see that as an absolute win on this gauge on a long skirt because I want it to get to a midi length. So I actually had to trick myself into knitting on this because I sent off my luggage with my aunt and uncle who were driving to France and took our luggage with them, and I put all of my knitting projects and my tools in there, and I kept only this. So this was the only thing I could knit on the night before we left and the day we were traveling to the south of France. So I made so much progress on that, and then I was stuck on my other whip, and I'd finished my other two tops that I just shown you on holiday, so I spent a lot of time knitting on this as well, and that was perfect because I don't think I would have made that much progress otherwise, but I am getting very excited about this. Maybe I should just leave it on my couch for whenever I don't have a fun, quick stockinette project to knit on, but I feel like I always have a fun, quick stockinette, easy project going, so I'm not sure. Maybe I'll make some more progress on this. Maybe it's going to go back into hibernation, but I am sure I'll probably only finish this next summer. Or you know what? I'm going to go for next spring. I'm going to pick it up next spring, and I'm going to finish it to wear for the summer. I think that's the plan right now. Yeah. And then I can use these needles for my Agni cardigan that's been hibernating since, well, last winter. Yeah, but so I do recommend, for the pure silk, as it's so splitty, I do recommend very pointy wooden needles over metal needles. Maybe pointy metal needles might work as well, but I haven't enjoyed working with the pure silk on metal needles, and I have on these wooden ones, so top tip for you there. Now, I have a test knit for my friend Maddie from True Summer Knits, which is my second whip. So wait, no, I don't have 3 whips, I have 4 whips, right? Yeah. And it's basically almost finished. This is the basic boat neck tank. I'm literally binding off at the bottom. This is, as the name suggests, a basic boat neck tank. It has these lovely I-cord edges with 3-stitch I-cords. It's quite fitted. It has a lot of decreases for a very nice and fitted waist, which I'm excited about. And this is one of the quickest summer tops I have ever knit up, and such a nice test knit experience as well, I must say. I'll insert some pictures of this when I hadn't done the I-cord edges yet, but the stockinette edges for the boat neck and also the straps, as you can still see with my straps a little bit, tend to roll a lot. And she has this nifty trick which has you fold over the edge and pick up stitches in the fold to knit the I-cord in to make it stop folding as much. Now it's still rolling a little bit and looking a bit weird because I haven't fully wet blocked and pinned it yet, but I have steam blocked and pinned it, and that has helped tremendously already. So I am thinking that it's going to work perfectly for me and look really cute, but I'm going to have to show you that in my next episode. But that's why the top might look a bit neater in terms of tension than the bottom, because I've steam blocked that. But yeah, it's knit up at, I think, a 28 stitch gauge on 2.75 millimeter needles. I am knitting it in Knitting for Olive merino. Her sample is using Knitting for Olive cotton merino, but I wanted it to be like a little fall appropriate top, or like a top that I could wear with jeans or long trousers during like a 21°C day out and about in my town, or to work maybe, because it's very work appropriate, I feel. This is the Knitting for Olive merino in the color Dusty Aqua, which I absolutely adore. I bought this on a whim in my local yarn store back in January. I bought 2 skeins, or 2 balls, and I absolutely do not regret this. I was initially planning on knitting up the Alana camisole with this, but then Maddie's test knit came along and I could not resist because it's just gorgeous. I think it fits me really, really well. I'll insert some pictures of me trying it on, and I'll just continue binding off. I'm binding off in an I-cord stitch with 3mm needles rather than 2.75 mil to see how that looks, because I think I might like that finish. Someone in the test knit group chat suggested that, and I agreed. I think it might look sweet. I don't think Maddie's entirely sure about what she's going to be doing with the bind off. I think for now she's working with a folded hem, which also looks really, really cute, but I'm traumatized by the folded hem on my 9 p.m. tank. Whoops. The decreases look really pretty. I think they're done differently than on the 9 p.m. tank. Yeah, which I found interesting because I did these at about the same time. Wait, I'll hold them like this. And one of them does slip slip knit first, and the other one does knit two together first. And well, this one's been blocked and this one hasn't, so don't mind that. But it gives a completely different effect, and I'm not entirely sure yet which one I prefer. So if you have any opinion on this, let me know in the comments. I feel like this one pulls a bit more and this one doesn't, but that might also be because of the fact that this one has been blocked and is a superwash yarn and this one isn't. But yeah, just look at the difference between the superwash merino and the regular merino. This is so much more woolly and scrumptious, and I love this so much, and this is just like lotiony and you know? I don't know. I don't like superwash. I'm not here for it. Confirmed. I love a nice basic 100% merino, especially the Knitting for Olive one. A lot of people in the test knit group have lost yarn chicken. I won't, I think, which is pretty weird because I knit a very similar top in the merino, and I did lose yarn chicken with this one, probably because this one doesn't have any waist decreases. I'm sorry, I had to stop recording there for a second, but we're back. I'm just not entirely sure what makes some people lose yarn chicken and others not. I feel like, yeah, this has been inconsistent for me as well. I don't know. Maybe the different colorways have a different meterage, because we did note in the group chat that like some of the merinos are more woolly and seem to have like the pearl gray, for example, has like little different gray fibers mixed in there together, which could be, I don't know. I feel like I'm just yapping and trying to find an explanation for something I don't have an explanation for. I just wanted to leave that out there. If anyone has more information on this and knows why sometimes or some people or some colorways can be used to knit up an entire top in less balls, I don't know. It's very confusing to me. I can't find the words to continue talking about this, so you know what? I won't. I'll just finish this later today. I have like an entire night to myself. I'll make some of my favorite food and cast this off and then block it and maybe even wear it tomorrow because the weather has been extremely gloomy, so I think I will be able to wear it and I will love it so much. So if I break on and off, it's because there's some things going on and people dropping off things for us. They could be here again any minute, but I'm gonna try and film in the meantime. But so I wanted to thank Maddie for letting me be part of her test knit. I can't believe this is her first pattern because it's so well done, and she clearly did so much research and studied pattern writing and what she wanted to do so well before she started this, which is just brilliant. She's yeah, very talented, and she let me read through her pattern before she started the test knit, and I couldn't believe how well written it was and how little mistakes were in there for the pattern being her first and not ever being tested. So I strongly recommend this, and honestly any of her future patterns. I'm certain they'll be great and magnificent, and I'm so excited. So huge congratulations to Maddie for pulling this off and doing such a wonderful job, because this is just gorgeous and I'm so happy with it. And strong recommend. Yeah, everyone needs one of these. It's like the perfect basic. Chef's kiss. Now, another project I cast on is I grabbed my Suri alpaca from Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. in Diamond of the First Water from the Bridgerton collection, which just caked up gorgeously. It is the most stunning hand-dyed yarn I have ever seen in my life, and I'm using it one-stranded on 4mm needles with the regular blouse #1 pattern to make a blouse #1 light, but not without buying the blouse #1 light pattern. So this is what I've got so far. She's looking really cute. It's like slightly, ever so slightly variegated. It's looking very ethereal, and I just love the gauge at which this is knitting up. I'm so excited for this finished object. I cast on a size medium. I'm perfectly on gauge for the regular blouse #1 pattern, and I want it to be a bit bigger and not necessarily have as much negative sorry, alpaca fibers in my nose. I'm allergic, I think, lately to like mohair and alpaca stuff, and sorry, but this suri is just so soft. I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna sneeze all over. My cat's also allergic, so whenever I'm knitting on this, it's just a hilarious sneeze fest. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this, and I'm gonna love wearing it. But so I cast on for a size medium, or the third size, and I'm just gonna keep going on the yoke with the increases for the size medium, but I might do more increases to make it a bit more oversized and a bit bigger. I think the trumpet sleeves will look good a little bit bigger, and yeah, I don't have much to say about this pattern. It's pretty simple. I've knit it before with a linen yarn, but it starts off with like a saddle-ish situation, and then you increase just for the sleeves, creating this gorgeous set-in sleeve straight look, which I adore. I think looks really good on me, and yeah, there's no finishings traditionally on this pattern, but if I don't especially like the way this looks, or if the yarn or the finished fabric curls up too much, I might add an I-cord edge, as is also suggested in the pattern, but I don't think that'll be needed because it's not curling too much as is, so looking promising. I have 3 hanks of this, and I think I might be able to get one out with just 2 hanks, which would be lovely because then I can use the third one for a little vest #2 with like a light colored, I think I have 2 skeins of the drops flora in the color fog to hold with that, so I really hope I can get that out of 2 hanks of this beautiful suri. And yeah, I have officially hopped on the hand-dyed suri bandwagon. I was just saying I'm not for variegated yarns, but this one is so subtle and so beautifully done and so fluffy and ethereal that I might go full Paramore and say you are the only exception. I love it. I'm so excited for this one. It's going very quickly. I love this pattern. I think I'm going to knit at least like another linen version of this next spring. I absolutely adore this. I have nothing negative to say about this. I did not cast on with smaller needles for this one because it's not the most stretchy yarn in the world, so I cast on tightly. No, I did. I didn't go 1 needle size down. I think I went a half needle size down. I cast on with 3.5mm needles, and I used the one 3.5mm needle that I have left because the other one's broken, but I managed, so that's good. And yeah, I'm knitting up this absolute beauty. Yeah. So excited. It's like the sweater of my ice princess wintry dreams. Or like, it looks like cotton candy floss. When I like opened up the hank of yarn, I made this Instagram story saying that it looked like cotton candy because it absolutely did, and this yarn just gets me so excited. I can't stop looking at it. I can't stop feeling and touching it. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah, I'm flying through this. Okay. Now, wait, I have to go get something. My next project coincides with my only acquisition, which is 6 skeins of this bcgarn Summer in Cashmere. It's a yarn, it gives you 165 meters per 50 grams. It's 90% organic cotton and 10% cashmere, and I chose the color powder. This is technically an ad because I received a discount code to purchase this yarn for a test knit I'm doing for Anna from Strik Studie, and I could not be more excited for this. But first, the yarn. I had so much trouble picking out a color, and I'm very glad that my best friend and my partner ended up making me pick this one, because it's called powder, and it looks very powdery and more white-ish, foggy even in pictures, but in real life it's like a dusty lilac-y pink, which is right up my alley. I mean, it's just the perfect color for me. I think it looks really nice on me as well, and I think it's just the perfect color for this pattern because I am test knitting the Campanula Tee, which is a tight-fitting, wait, I'm just gonna quickly, just for the hell of it, I'm just gonna quickly wear this while I'm talking about it. I don't have much yet, but at least then you can kind of see where I'm getting. It's like a saddle type shoulder, high mock necky situation. It's a tight knit, irregular rib tee. And I think it's called the Campanula Tee because the look reminds of a campanula flower, and the color I picked also reminds of a dainty little campanula flower, which is nice. So this is what the yoke's looking like right now. It's knit up with 2.5mm needles, and even unblocked, this yarn knits up so beautifully for ribbing. You start with a little saddle shoulder, again, very similar to my blouse number 1, and then you do like this set-in sleeve increase only for the sleeve situation, and then I'm sure, as with the blouse number 1, I'm going to do a bit more increases for the body at the bottom as well, with more of a raglan type situation. You cast on using provisional cast on, because this is going to have a ruffle edge on the neck, which is going to look super, super cute. I have a little swatch ready, if I can find it. Oh, here. Right in front of my nose, of course. This is my swatch. And look how beautifully this yarn blocks, people. Come on. I can't with this. It's so, so stunning. You use 2mm needles to increase a few rows before you bind off with the regular bind off to create the ruffle. And it's just so exciting. It's right up my alley. It's like dainty and girly, but still like serious enough so that you could like wear it to in a professional setting or whatever, or to just like dress up the classic t-shirt and a pair of jeans, you know? It has been hurting my wrists a lot to be knitting this, especially because I've been speeding through it so far, because I had some trouble with my yarn order, which arrived late and stuff, but I don't mind because I'm having so much fun with this pattern, and I'm so excited to knit it up. It's gonna have like quarter length sleeves with a ruffle edge, and be nice and fitted with waist decreases on the body. Yeah, I'm so, so, so excited for this, and so happy I got picked by Anna to test knit this pattern. I'm knitting the size 4. I must say, it's very well written so far. I hadn't knit anything by Anna before, but I sure will in the future. She has gorgeous designs, and I've been having them on my list for ages. You cast on sew provisionally, and you do use short rows, which I think is absolutely necessary for a pattern like this and is going to look really good. You can already notice it, like when I try it on, that it fits really well with the short rows and because of the short rows. I'm sorry, I'm talking so fast, but I feel like I'm just incredibly excited. Yeah, I can't wait to continue knitting on this. The only thing is, you really need to be attentive when you just start knitting it, because you can't really see what you're doing yet, and you have this irregular rib pattern, and the saddle shoulder ribbing is different from the irregular rib in the rest of the body, and so you really need to pay attention when you're like increasing over here and increasing over here to know where you are and what you're doing. But the pattern really holds your hand through this very well and really tells you like what to do row per row, which usually I'm not for that. I don't like row per row patterns. I prefer patterns that let you fill in the blanks for yourself, but she writes out the like fill in the blank type notation first, and then she gives you the row per row notation, which chef's kiss, amazing, 0 notes, perfect for me. It's a pattern written in a way that everyone can be happy with it, I feel. I love that. I adore that. There's also a Danish version of the pattern, which I understand more Danish than I thought I would, but written Danish is not dissimilar to Norwegian, so I could have expected to, but still, that was a happy surprise. Yeah, I'm just gonna continue working this up and give you updates. I still have over a month and a half, I think, to finish this, but I'm off work currently, so I should have enough time to whop this beauty out and knit it up quite quickly. I can't wait to wear this with a blue or a gray pair of jeans, or even a white pair of trousers, or my pink trousers, my pink dress trousers, if the color looks good with it. Yeah, I don't know. I love knitting these kinds of constructions because a regular raglan is a bit boring for me, but this saddle shoulder type contiguous or set and sleeve knit is just, I think is it contiguous or a compound raglan? I'm not sure, but what I am sure about is I dig it. I dig it so much, and it's so pretty. And I can't wait to finish editing this video and continue knitting this beauty up. Yeah, I'm so excited about this one. I think my last finished objects were a bit more floppy, just for me to be absolutely ecstatic about these ones. I have high hopes for my next whips, or my current whips, so that might be dangerous, but no, I'm not jinxing it. I don't think I'm jinxing it. I'm just excited, and rightfully so, because I think it's all gonna look gorgeous, and I'm having the most fun knitting it all up. I don't have any acquisitions for you apart from my bcgarn Summer in Cashmere, which I've thoroughly been enjoying already. I feel like I've been... Oh, alright, I'm a tiny bit out of breath because I just had to run downstairs and back, but I think I was just raving about these projects and how excited I am, which, it's nice. I'm very glad to be so excited after being a bit more disappointed with my finished objects of the summer, and I'm getting into fall knitting because officially the test knits are surprise plans, obviously, but the light blouse was already part of my fall knitting plans, which I'll be filming next and uploading next and getting very hyped for. I'm still kind of in a summery mood with my projects, but with a merino tank and a tee, a fitted tee. I think it's gonna be fall-y enough for me. I like transitioning a bit more than going straight into the sweaters. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed a possibly slightly more or even more chaotic podcast than usual. I enjoyed chatting to you today a lot. I hope to see you in my next video. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you want. I'd love to hear what you're working on, or if you've used any of the yarns I'm using right now and what you thought of them, if you've knit any of these projects, or might be able to help me fix my 9 p.m. tag. That would be nice. And yeah, that's all for today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and happy knitting. Bye bye.